I get. Can't believe people just love you, Brian. And they say, where did you come up with that guy at? Man, he's fascinating. I said, that's why we call him Fascinating Brian. So anyway, turn your microphone up, would you, Brian?
Yeah, you're real low. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Is that better?
What do you have on your coat? Your jacket? It's all sparkly.
Oh, there's like little sparkles. That's probably from the
putting up Christmas ornaments.
Because I have the EMF cloth, so when I take it off my devices, then I get that stuff on.
I don't know if Brother Kent's going to join us tonight or not, but Debbie, you said you tried to call Kent earlier in the week and you never got a hold of him, right?
Yeah, didn't get a hold of anybody. No.
I couldn't either. I tried calling Kent yesterday, and I was going to bring him in up to speed about our guest tonight. We're actually starting early.
Yeah, I know.
But it's all right. You just wanted to end the show earlier. That's it.
I'm good either way. My kids want to watch, Christmas movies with me. It's family time.
I better mute. Hang on a minute.
So how are you, Debbie?
Hang on, I can't hear. What'd you say?
I said, how are you, Debbie? How are you, Brian?
It's been
I'm
hectic.
good.
You're good?
Yeah, I checked in to see if there's any words of wisdom or words of advice that needed to be given. And basically, the only message that I was given was just don't pay attention to anything. It's like a complete data dump. It's draining. They said just avoid any situation, including gatherings. Like if you don't feel like going to a gathering that has any toxic individuals, don't go. Honestly, don't go. Yeah. It's just not worth your time, not worth your energy. And I've, even though I'm kind of excited to go see my mom, my dad, and my sister, I'm not really as excited as I feel like it's more of an obligation at this point. And only because like my dad's not doing too well physically. So, and then he needs to see his grandkids. So I get that. That's fine. It's just I don't align to anyone really. So I'm not really enthusiastic anymore. And of course, I don't celebrate Christmas because Christmas is, again, overrated and not a I don't feel like celebrating a pagan holiday. So
yeah, I know.
Everybody said, do you have the decorations up? And I said, nope. They said, do you have anything? I said, nope. I said, I don't do that anymore. I mean, it costs too much for everybody to come down here because the flights were just outrageous. Yeah, about $900 a piece. And I said, for a couple of days, it isn't worth it. So I said, just stay home. It's not a big deal,
Yeah. It's like $4,000. And that's with the rent-a-car. And I'm like, Jesus. And we're only gone for 5 days. And I was like, I can think of.
Where do you have to go?
So I'm going to Arkansas.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll fly into Branson. Then I'll drive to Harrison. I'll be in an Airbnb for 3 nights, and then I'll have to drive to Idaho because my dad lives in Idaho, and he'll meet his grandson the first day. He hasn't seen his niece in a very, very long time, and again, his health. He says he's doing, much better, but that cough is that he has is so horrendous. I mean, I can hear the strain on all his organs. It's just, it just tightens everything. Like all his
cough that won't go away. Yep.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't like hearing it.
Yeah.
And
He needs to detox, is what he needs to do, Brian. I know we're early. Docg got us on TikTok early, and so I jumped on at 7, and these guys just joined me. Kent hasn't joined us yet. I hope he does. Brother Kent, if you're listening, jump on board, brother, because the water's fine. Cold, but fine.
So I've got a new title. Does everybody see what my new title is?
Yes. Debbie has a new title.
What is it, Debbie? Explain to us.
I guess I'm an investigative reporter.
You are the official investigator. You are the official Lois Lane.
I just don't have my hat though. I should have made a tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
I should
That's
have
right.
tonight. By golly gee. I'll do it next week. Okay.
Oh my God,
Okay.
you're in the right spot for that. That's what other people say. That's not me.
We're gonna really start this show without me doing my Trump dance because I get a lot of comments on that. We want
You
to
can
let
do it. Go ahead.
them when they see my wonderful dance.
We're waiting for our guests to come on so you can do that and you can talk about everything and just start the show. Chance, we can start it right now, I guess.
And what about singing? Are you going to sing?
Hi, everybody. We're going to do the official introduction.
Ready?
Maybe. Yeah, go.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Of course, I'm Docg, the Chance McFadden, and Fascinating Brian, Debbie Stevens, and hopefully Kent Dunn will join us. But this is Chance's Chat. Welcome to Chance's Chat. Oh, the music.
Yeah. Did you forget it?
I can't play it on the phone.
Okay, never mind. I was all ready to do the Trump dance and everything.
No,
But
you
it's
can
all
do
right.
it. I just can't play it because it's on TikTok and I got it on the phone. So I'm all.
I get it.
Oh, he's disappointed.
All right, I'll get the close. I'll get the closing theme up on my phone. Okay, so
Don't be disappointed.
well, I'll try to get over it, but I was still looking forward to the Trump dance. Sorry, Bernadette, it's good to see you. Hey, can you put the phone number up for any questions?
I will put the phone number up. Hold on, give me a second.
We've got to answer a couple of questions from last week. People want to know
let's do that.
where they
Doesn't
need
give
to
me a
go.
chance to go back to the old questions.
Yeah.
I have to re-ask them.
Well, Debbie knew a couple of them. Go ahead, Deb.
Yeah, Deb.
People wanted to know if they're leaving California or out east. Where's a good place to go?
Okay.
Um,
The highest point above sea level is this little town in Colorado, and I'll have to check with Hawk to find out what it is, but it's actually the highest point, and then it has a mountain that you can actually escape to up to that, but it's in Colorado. But right now, Colorado doesn't sound really too good to me, but I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to the Colorado in just a minute, okay? Iowa's pretty good, except I'm 6 blocks from the river, so I'll have time to get out, okay?
Small towns, Missouri, anywhere like that. I know people probably won't like cold, but anywhere in the small towns in the Midwest, depending on what part of the Midwest.
I hear a lot of things good about South Carolina and Georgia too.
Yep.
Brother Kent's got the possums down there. We'll have plenty to eat, Hi, Nancy Spencer. Hey, listen, I'm going to go rant. It's time for Chance's rant, okay? All right. Okay, God, are you guys buying into this crap about Colorado not putting Trump on the ballot and 12 more states are going to jump right in? Well, who's reporting all that crap? Well, it's mainstream media and the ones that are controlling the internet. And like I've told you before, there's 600 to 750 script writers writing all this crap, okay? And this is all going to disappear soon enough because they can't put Trump off of a ballot that isn't when the election isn't going to happen, because the election cannot happen because the corporation is defunct and bankrupt. Get your mind out of the corporation. Get into reality. Okay, the republic will be the new norm. Trump will be on the ballot, and they're just trying to get you all worked up. Now, as far as being red-pilled, there are no more. This is insider information I'm allowed to share. There are no more blue states. They're all fractionalized. There are some blue cities, but there aren't no blue states. Deep state fractionalized, okay, all over the place. And that's what we're getting is pockets of resistance. So don't buy into any of that crap, okay? Colorado's going to be pretty good. I'm looking at. I'm also looking at Branson because there's a theater down there I want to buy. I am an entertainer. I'm not just another pretty face on the internet hosting a talk show. Okay, there's a lot more to me than that, girls. But anyway,
I got a phone call.
Phone call already? Good.
There we go. Hello, who's on the phone for Chance's chat?
This is Jim.
And it's Jim Gandalf.
Jim Gandalf, hot diggity dog.
That's all right. We got you on the phone. Hope we can. Can you hear him, guys? Can you hear him?
No.
I'm not saying anything. You want me to say something?
Yeah. Just talk, Jim. See if they can hear you.
Okay. Well, okay. I'm here.
Louder.
Can you talk a little louder?
Oh, a little louder?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I tried with the links you guys sent me, man, but they want a whole lot of information for. It made it sound like they wanted me to start my own show or something. You know.
It's
I was like, what's the title?
It's the software that was created by StreamYard. It's not us. You know that.
I got you.
We talked about that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Welcome to the call. Hopefully everybody can hear you. Chance, do you want to talk about him?
I'll turn my volume up too. Maybe that'll work. Is that better?
Is that better, guys?
A little bit.
Yeah, remember
That's good.
he's on a laptop, so it's hard to hear on this side here.
Oh no, I'm on my phone.
No, you're on my laptop to hear it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
You're fine, Jim. Go ahead.
Should I give you an introduction, Jim?
You want an introduction?
Yeah, I think so.
Go ahead.
Okay, let me tell you about this gentleman that we're having on the phone call. His name is Jim Gandalf. He's from Indianapolis, Indiana. Is that right?
Yeah.
And he's into motorsports, which is very cool. And he's also involved in whiskey, right?
Yeah.
And
Vodka.
oh, it's vodka. Okay. And he's an entrepreneur and a humanitarian. And he's got some plans for the United States. And he had a vision. And we want to hear from Jim and hear all about his vision. And it's all you, brother Jim. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, first of all, I was extremely busy. I handle one of the largest trusts in the United States, which happens to be funding. It has to be my aunt. And I sit there and I move all this money around all night long, buy, sell, trades. And I started making an extreme amount of money in the process. So I decided that I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what to do. And so I prayed about it, and I prayed about it. And one night I had a dream to build 50,000 homes in America. And I was kind of confused about it, and I was like, man, I've never even built a doghouse. And then I got an answer to that. And I said, it pretty much showed me over the several months on how to structure this, how to do it, how to get the money in place. So I went to my aunt and my family, and I told them I needed $15.5 billion to build these homes. And I had it pretty much laid out and how I wanted to do it. And they agreed to do it. So the next step was putting together the actual plan of what I was going to do. It was just too costly to build a construction company to go across the United States with, and getting myself registered in each community, because it's not that bad federally to do it, but to do it locally in each state, it became a mess. So then I just calmed down, and my uncle, he lives in a different country, told me, he said, Jim, why don't you just go ahead and use the people that they already have? Just hire a contractor to take care of all the beds. You can get a land developer to do the streets and, the power systems, the sewer systems, everything involved with the community. I said, okay, that makes sense. And then just started. It started from what plans was I going to use, and I happened to walk into a Menards, and they had all these beautiful plans to build these homes. They had 2-story homes, ranch homes, 2-car garage, and these houses are going to be 1,700 to 2,000 square feet. So, in one sense of another, I didn't want to restrict on what they wanted. So there was plans, and then you bought the blueprints, and then all the material came inside of the hardware store, from the nails to everything. Then I started thinking on a massive scale on logistics, because the gasoline got really high up here. So I started thinking, well, maybe I can do a deal with the supply companies, like the people that manufacture the doors, the windows, roofing, the people that make the arches for the roof, the lumber companies. Just about everything that come into play with this started to work out as a system. And then I started focusing on, okay, how are people going to qualify for these houses? So I sat down with a couple friends of mine that own mortgage companies, and I'm pretty well known in the banking business. So I talked to a couple banks and guidelines and stuff. I said, well, what if I take it out of all these restrictions and all this stuff? I just want to take people out of an apartment and make decent amount of money and then get a house. And this other guy was telling me, well, Jim, not everybody's going to want these houses. I said, why? He said, they ain't going to want them in their neighborhood. It's going to devalue the houses. Oh, what are you talking about? It's a $300,000 house. Why wouldn't they want a $300,000 to $350,000 house, depending on where it's at? I said, I'm not talking about building shanties or stuff, because what are you talking about? So there was an argument on how the houses were going to look. I said, look, I don't care how they're going to look. It's the customer that picks the house out, not me. Somebody wants a house, they're the ones picking it out through the different models, the way that it's going to look. So they said, well, are they going to give you any money up front for this? I said, why? I said, I'm paying for this. They're paying me for it after they get it. And then I had a contract, and then I had a talk with somebody that was a district attorney for a city, and he said, Jimmy, you got to be careful. There's going to be people that are going to be out there trying to rip people off, saying that they're the only way to get to you. And I stepped back a second, and I thought, well, you might be right about that. There's too many criminals out there. And then we had to start attacking this in a way that we didn't want to we didn't want that to happen. So in the meantime, I became part of the UCC1, and I became a world marshal to protect people against fraud and banking fraud. And this has been about a 4-year process of putting all this together to make this work in each state of the United States. So there would be 100 homes per community in 10 different locations throughout a state. So that would give 1,000 homes per state. Do you kind of understand where I'm going with that there?
Does everybody
Yes.
understand?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. It makes it easier for me to do the property management basis, because once they get a house, there's going to be other kinds of services there. There's going to be, if you run into financial trouble while you're managing your house, there's going to be relief for that. If, say your major person that brings the bread in, they lose their job. Well, I take over the payments to where, they find an amplical job to where, they were at before. I'm not just rushing them to go get a job. Second of all, there'll be community services to where, to help that family have food and dinner, other needs, help with the utilities. If your main breadwinner partner passes away, then, I don't charge you anything. We just help you out. In a way, I don't really understand the allowance part of that yet. The government's kind of working with me on how much I can help in that area. So, that's pretty much that's where we're at. We're starting this. So this is going on right now. So this is like I'm actually moving the money from our treasury accounts, and the Federal Reserve is helping me and my aunt, and we're going to start. So I was thinking about starting in the state of Indiana, Ohio, Wisconsin, and I really want to do this down in Florida because all the drama they have through its weather down there. Georgia and Alabama. I want to do as many states as possible in the beginning, and I don't want this to be dragged out over years of building. I want this to be done effectively and right. Each one of these communities have enough contractors and builders, carpenters, electricians. They've already had to get certified within their own county to do business anyways. So that's where that's at. That's on that particular module. And in the process of that, somebody came to me with a bunch of nonsense about somebody's going to pay off all the world debt. And I said, look, man, this can be done. I said, so why don't we do it? And so we created our own currency with the United States government, assured U.S. dollars, to where we're going to infuse that cash flow into banks through the gold and the land we have. So we're going to start praying about the debt. So I'm trying to do as much as I can, before, the good Lord takes me. So that's it. I'm not asking. I didn't go around and ask people for money. I didn't go into one church. I didn't go into anything. This all came from my family and the UCC.
Wonderful.
Can you tell us more about your family, the trust it is and stuff?
Well, Juan Gutierrez is my uncle, and Doris Latoria is my aunt. And they just happen to be some very exceptional people in their lives that have made and managed money for countries, and they are trillionaires. They have enough money to handle what we're doing. And then the UCC1, which really controls most of the land in the world, they're the ones that have infused the money to pay back the debt. So I've covered everything without going out and trying to get investments from people. I don't need any of that. And it's not that I'm saying, hey, look, I don't want you to invest in what we're doing. And I just figured that I just needed to handle this the way I needed to handle it. And I'm not saying that nobody can help me. I'm saying now it's time that where I have to start structuring people to handle the developments. There's going to be 10 communities, 100 homes in each state. Everything's it's going to take people and manpower now. I don't need investments from people. What I need is the skillful mindset that people really want to help people. And I'm not excluding churches and so forth, because I think there's an awful lot of money for churches to manage. And, I like the services and goods, and I can help out with their pantries and their, people in the community that we're building tied in with the local churches. I'm not vain on anything of anybody helping, but once we get going, that's the picture of what I'm looking for. Now, for qualifying for these homes.
That's my question.
Did you hear me?
What did you say again? Go ahead, Deb.
I just had a question of who qualifies and what the application would be. That's what my question was.
That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. You have to have a job for 2 years. You have to be able to afford $500 a month plus insurance and taxes of that local community or state, whatever that tax bracket is, because they vary from every community. And you have to show that you can pay your utility bills as well. That part that's how you get a house.
Does everybody understand what he said? Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I also had a question. So,
Okay.
I'm just the dog. So, how? So I understand this is all very third dimensional reality. I was wondering, would it be possible to go up a notch to more like a holistic society or holistic neighborhood where, perfect example, I've kind of had ideas to where some properties would be self-sustaining in a way they would have mom and pop grocery stores, shops, for where the community would each delegate time and energy in maintaining these facilities, whether it's hydroponics or fish farming, or agricultural, even like in-house tropical greenhouses. So
yeah, I have no problem with that, but right now I'm building 50,000 homes in America, and I don't really that's my goal. Oh, and I forgot to mention the most major thing with this. Through my trial and tribulations of planning and putting this together, I found out I have enough money to give each one of these homeowners a brand new car. Not a used car, a brand new one.
Wow.
And it's tied into this. And as long as I can keep everything around $330,000 for the house and the car tied in together, which I found out is doable. And everybody says, "So Jim, how much profit are you going to make on this?" I said, "It's my money. I'm not profiting. I'm like created a trust, and this is like a tax break. This is like I either pay taxes or I build these homes. I do this structural wise, and I like the holistic idea because I was raised by how do you say this? A person that we grew everything. What we could grow. I believe in vitamins and all the other stuff. I'm a firm believer in all of that. So That sounds like a good idea. I never really even thought about that. Somebody was trying to tell me they had to spend $20,000 a house on the yard and chickens and all this other stuff. And I said, look, man, I'm not putting chickens in every one of these houses with a chicken coop. I mean, I grew up with a chicken coop. That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to have a nice community, 1,700 to 2,000 square foot home, 2-car garage. That's what they want, you know. They got a deal with Elon Musk. We're going to use their solar energy in the south. Each community is going to have free Wi-Fi. Nobody's going to have to pay for that. It's going to go up a light post where the routers will be able to reach each house. I mean, there's so many things that's fabulous that's come about this that I don't mind about the holistic situation. But, you know, as long as it stays in the part where, you know, I want one parent to go to work and the other parent to take care of the kids.
Have you looked at prefab homes? Did you go into looking at that for the fact that you can build those faster?
No, not faster. I want this to be a house that's going to last 100 some odd years, like stick built. I mean, I don't want. If I take anything on new, I don't want to end up getting sued later because some new idea wasn't tested right or anything of that matter. I want this to be. People are getting a house, the same kind of house that Tom went and they spent $500,000-$600,000 with, but I'm getting a better deal because I'm doing it at such a massive scale. I hope you guys understand that.
Yeah, so it holds its value. I understand
right.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
I want somebody to be very comfortable, you know. I want somebody to be happy. I want services to where if somebody, you know, not everybody's perfect out there. People have problems. I want the type of doctor community to where they can be counseled. There's things. I want this to be a whole thought of the Sermon on the Mount from Christ. You know, and you don't have to be a Christian or anything to have one of these homes. I'm not putting those kind of restrictions on anything. What this is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And how can and there's really no definition of who your neighbor is. And I've sat down with some of the biggest scholars in the world, and they called me an ignorant redneck from Indiana. But I happen to be worth billions of dollars. But I sit there and I try to feed into some of these educational minds that your neighbor could be anybody. It could be Muslim, it could be Hindu, it could be somebody that they just don't care. They don't have a religion. But if you're kind and you work together to build a community, you know, that I think was the message on the Sermon on the Mount. I mean, I can't tell you to love something you don't know much about. So I could lead you to the water, but I can't force you to drink. But you'll drink when you need to drink, okay, when you're thirsty. So not everybody's thirsty. I hope you catch what I'm saying.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
You know?
So what about the veterans?
Absolutely.
What about the veterans? Do they qualify the same way?
Yeah, they're veterans. If the government wants to give me some kind of special deal for them, I'm in on it.
Okay.
Anybody that can qualify to pay me $500 a month tied in with their insurance and taxes, their utilities. I'm not going to say you can't have a house. I don't care where you come from. Let's put it that way. If you're a veteran, I love you to death. I thank you for your service. I will make sure you have what you need. That whatever it takes. I talked to a friend of mine that brought the same thing up to me to the head of the Veterans Administration. I can't remember their name right now at the moment, but they told me that they allocate funding for a certain amount of housing projects. And I said, well, this is what I need them to cover. He says, well, yeah, we give a lot more than that. I said, okay, then we'll get a house. We'll make it accessible to them. If they're in a wheelchair, if they have this, we'll make things accessible the way it needs to be done. But I don't want it to be, this is only for veterans. I don't want this to be, this is only for a certain, anybody that wants one and can afford it. And there's no credit check. I don't care about people's past or credit. It's your job. If you had a job for 2 years and you can pay your bills, put you in a house, and there's no upfront money, we got to be really careful out there. I don't want people saying, oh, I have a direct link to Jim Gandalf's foundation. You get a house. Oh, we're your pre-qualifying service. No, you're not. You know, there's going to be an actual in each state offices, and there's going to be managers, and there's people are going to run it, and it's a direct source to get a house.
Okay.
Is that understand?
Yeah.
Or
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the other question that I have is, do you need to have all of these houses in one area, one piece of land, or can it be different areas in a surrounding area? Because where I'm living right now in Florida, there's several lots that can be bought, and this area is a very up and growing area right now.
Yeah. What I'm talking about, each state has 10 different locations, 100 homes within each one of those communities.
Okay, but they don't have to be together. Yeah, I mean, like down the block, 10 houses or 5 houses here.
Well, it all depends on the situation.
It's easier if it's in one area.
Right.
Acreage, only because it's about the logistics, the cost, the gas, the supply, because they can set up a station. So they don't have to go far if they need to build all the houses. So, it's just cost effective to do that than to purchase in a very broad, spread out,
Well, there's land down here, right. I can directly go to it right now. Tons of it. And it's an unincorporated area.
The point is teenagers that live in the community can also help out with some of the elderly families, or say if there were, wounded warriors or so forth like that.
I love that.
I create credits for these younger generation to where we pay for their college by them with my foundation.
Wow.
So with this foundation, the kids, now there won't be any student loans I'll have to take out. The only qualification of that is we'll pay for their college or their university within that state. But when they graduate, they have to work within that community for 4 years. And then I don't care where they go.
Love that.
As long as they're doing something of that support. Is that understandable?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. It gives motivation for everybody to shine, because not everybody can afford to send their kid to school. So I figured through everybody helping out, Fred hurt his leg at work and he's out on disability until he heals, or Aflac or whatever kind of insurance they're on. Johnny 14 and he'll go over and cut and take care of his grass and stuff like that while he's out. Well, those are points for Johnny. Or Susan or whoever the young teenager is. So that builds up to, we'll send them to the college, university, or wherever, wherever they want to go within that state. So
Great.
Chance, do you have any questions, Chance?
No, I'm just sitting here taking it all in and listening to you guys talk. It's it sounds really good to me. Yeah, it sounds like something I would like to be involved in. I'm sure the rest of the guys feel the same way.
Very much so.
Absolutely.
Be fascinating just to help someone and be involved in it.
I think the only way to lead is lead by example. I think if you go out there and you say, "Oh, I need assistance from the government," I think the government's busy with their own drama. I don't really. I just think this is just something that I can do. And besides sitting there in the bank, I mean, I do pretty well with my trades. I mean, it's just a never-ending story, and a lot of people, like Elon Musk and all these other people. But man, my kids are taken care of with 8 generations deep, man. I mean, it just keeps adding up. So I just want to go do something. And, I would have never came to me if I didn't have this dream. It would have been like, oh, I guess it's Christmas. I'll give somebody $100,000, some foundation or some food drive, or, this is like profound. This is like, if I can't get it done in America, I can't do it throughout the world. So I have to get it done. It's just much easier to do it in your own backyard as opposed to trying to do this with corrupt governments in other countries.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim.
Well, with your humanitarian projects that you're working on and everything's moving forward at a brisk pace, then I guess we could consider Jim Gandalf being Santa Claus, and this is your Christmas present, folks, for the people that are homeless. And
I was just going to say that. Somebody on TikTok said the same thing.
That's funny.
Minds think a lot.
I want people to understand it's not just me. There's a group of people that have helped me get to the point, to help me see the light. There's each county is government. They have to, you have the United States government, then you got the state government, then you got the county government, then you got the city county, you got the city or the town government. There's like so many governments. I was like, what are you kidding me? I saw one town council member, and I said, well, kiss my ass, man. You want these houses or not? Figure out a way to get it done. You going to sit there and tell the people that live in your town, oh, this wasn't a good idea? Okay. You don't think I won't hit you in every newspaper and everything in the country? Oh, this governor or this town council member said, what a good idea to take care of the people that are underfunded family. I don't like saying the word poor. I just say they're underfunded. It takes a great group of people to start something like this, and we got to police it from the corrupt people. There's so many people out there that are going to try to take money up front and all this other. It's just like, really, people? We're trying to get people out of apartments into their own dream of owning their own land. Yeah, and that's it. And their own land might be a nice yard with a fence in the backyard where the dogs can bark all night long and drive you completely crazy.
Yeah, but the problem is, I'm sorry to cut you off. The problem is a lot of these, whether it's like mayors or governors, they are beholden not your usual government identities. It's more of the Masonic institutions. That's who they report to. So they're reporting to like other entities where they have to get their permission to facilitate exactly what you're wanting to give, which is, humanitarian aid to balance out equality among the populace.
Well, it's either there's not a Masonic temple or a Masonic person or anybody else that would get in my way, period. I'm pretty sure about that.
That's wonderful. That's good. I like this man. He's on my team. That's right.
Yeah, I like
absolutely.
to fight.
He likes to fight.
You just said the magic words there.
Oh, here we go.
My favorite song on the planet is the LL Cool J saying, "Mama said knock you out." That's my favorite song. Yeah. My mom was crazy enough to raise me.
Well, all I've got to say,
it's like, man.
I think this is a fantastic Christmas show that we're having. The only thing we're missing is Brother Kent. He's probably off planet right now. But listen, I want you to know, Jim, that we are pretty much on board, and anything that you can, use us for, please feel free to do so. My contact information and Debbie's contact information is over here to the right. And of course, you know how to get a hold of Doc G, Gene, the dancing machine, and and if you want to get a hold of Fascinating Brian, you can contact me, and I will pass his contact information.
Where we can have maybe get on like a free conference call kind of thing, and kind of like discuss what we're. There's people that I need to hire in each state to help me organize things. Everything has a salary. I don't work for free, so I don't expect people to work for free. I don't care what level of life they're in. We are financially set to. I think for the state managers, we're good. We got a budget of about. Hold on, somebody's trying. As a state manager, we have a budget of about $250,000 for that particular person to manage that state. For legal references, I have deposits that we can put in an attorney's IOTA account of $150,000 for any legal means that these state managers run into. The law firms, they're being interviewed. Accounting firm, I'm going to go with a large one like Deloitte & Touche so that we don't have any issues. And they're bonded, and they know the kind of insurance I'm going to make them get. Because if I have to give $16.5 billion of my money or my family money to build these, that's you better have enough insurance to cover your firm for your mess ups, So you guys are getting the nice side of me.
Don't make him mad.
Yeah, you get mad. I just call an attorney and then they come at you. So I don't have to get, But somebody said, "Oh God, Jim, mortgage companies are going to try to kill you." I said, "Mortgage companies got their own problems." I said, "They don't want to mess with me because I fight. I'm not going to sit there and let somebody threaten me." I love Elon Musk's new attitude. I had a conversation with him the other day, and he was laughing. I said, "Jimmy, are you going to be the same way?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to tell him to F you too. I'm going to say, hey, look, I'm not going to let people tell me how to do this. I'm going to let the Lord tell me how to do it. It seems like it's got so much steam that it's not wrong. We're going to start in as many states. I'm not going to say, we're 10 years down the road to start in California. I'm going to get everybody hired. We're going to have everybody trained and plan on how we're going to roll out in each state. And we're going to let them loose, and we're going to help them. We're going to have their own legal assistance, everything. And by any means, the person that was talking about holistic, man.
Thank you.
Work with me on that. As long as they don't have no damn chickens in the backyard.
No, I wasn't even talking about farm animals. I was specifically just talking about.
Yeah, I'm going to say, hey.
Christmas,
I like the idea because when I was a little kid and I was very shy, I have an Aunt Cherry that's the greatest aunt on the planet. She gave me a box of tomatoes and made me sell it door to door. And that woke me out of my shell. They slam doors in front of your face, and they're very rude to you, no matter if you're a kid or not. And it was completely hilarious. So I learned how to be strong from my family, which I think everybody in a strong community, the strong family members, that's how we get out of this. We didn't have all this technology as a kid. We knew who was hanging out where from their bicycle at which house. That was the lowdown. I mean, I think it's crazy the way technology is, but let's make it work in our benefit. You know, let's take care of people that need to be taken care of. I mean, I go and I feed people on the weekends in the city of Indianapolis. We just go with a little red wagon and we give people food and water and we pray for them. And church says, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." I said, "What are you talking about, man?" And I said, "Are you? That's the only reason why I'm not a preacher or minister. I can't accept money for it. So I can't preach the Lord's word with accepting money for it. I don't care who you are, but that's something they got to deal with. Not me." But
well, it's coming from your heart. I mean, really. I mean, just to have your family do what they're doing, that's unbelievable.
It took convincing. This was not easy, guys. My family's got trillions of dollars, not millions. They've got systems, governments, people that come at them for money, and I had to break it down. They said, "Jim, you're going to have corruption." I said, "No, I'm not. People need this in America.
We sure do.
They're going to be proud. If something's going over in somebody's yard, they're going to come out there and say, 'Hey, what's going on over there? Who are you? We don't know you.'" I mean, people stand up when they got a sense of, strength, And, I don't know how else to put it. I think this is the best vibe we could do.
Well, it costs more to take and live in an apartment than it would to give you $500 a month. That's clueless to even not even put any math to it. If you can't come up with $500 a month, which there's some people that can't because they can't manage the money. So that's probably what you need is somebody to help manage money. I've been doing 34 years in business.
Coming through.
Yeah, my financial coaching will come through.
How to save money. Gene, the dancing machine's going to teach them how to save money with the envelope deal. That's how I got involved with Gene. I was watching one of his things on TikTok and I was like, I don't even know how to work TikTok. I just make funny videos or do what I got to do and break it down. And I was like, "Hey, here's this guy talking about envelopes." And my grandfather taught me the same thing. When I was younger, I was like, this guy's saying what my grandfather said back in the 1970s. So
you also need Mr. T in your corner.
We need to bring that back. Maybe we need to bring that back. So I think people they need help. They might be in their own situation. A lady might have 4 kids and she's trying to do all this herself. I'm not saying it's a married couple that gets one of these houses. I'm saying it's anybody that can qualify for it. There'll be enough ladies in the community or men that can help watch the kids. This needs to be driven by neighbor love. And that's what it's going to be.
Isn't that beautiful, Debbie? I mean, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm on board. Call me. I'm ready. I know how to do this. I got a guy in Iowa that owns all the ready mix companies, does paving, everything. Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay.
I mean,
my main thing is I really want to win the Indy 500 one of these next few years with the team I'm building.
Well, my husband and you would get along just fine.
He wants to use the Hamilton radio car because they're going to have a logo on it.
Oh,
yeah. I want to make sure that we give away a house and a car every race.
Awesome.
Somebody
wow.
Payment. They have no payment.
No payment.
When I give that away,
That
and
is
if
beautiful.
you guys work with me and you help me build these communities, you will not have a payment. You will have a house. You will have a salary. You will have everything.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
The only thing I'm waiting on is my Federal Reserve agent is waiting because with the Treasury Department, the treasurer that we had, our agent in the Treasury passed away. So I'm waiting for them to give me my new Treasury person with U.S. Treasury. And then, they say, "Oh, Jim, are you going to move money offshore and all this stuff?" And I said, "Man, my money is right here." It is not going anywhere outside of this country unless I'm buying something from another country and bringing it here.
So I have another question. Mortgages and mortgage companies. I maybe you know something I don't, but I heard maybe they won't be around.
I
So
don't
they'll
care.
be paying you directly.
It's not my concern. Yeah,
Okay, I'm just asking. Hey, I know that question's probably out there, so I thought I'd ask it.
And if you're
I'm
going
just
to
the
help
person
me,
that asks
you're gonna
questions.
help me with this. If you're going to help me with this, you're not going to have a mortgage. So you understand, you're not going to have a payment. All you're going to do is pay your insurance and taxes. That's it.
Amen. Okay,
So,
where do I go? I'm willing, you know.
and I have no problems with building nice sized homes for people. And I have no problems with, you know, if people say, oh, well, what if I give you 1,000? I want to get like a 5,000 square foot house, Jim. Or, you know, I'll work with people. I'm not saying, hey, look, this is only for what it's for. You understand me now?
Yes, there's room to grow.
I just think everybody has to have the ability for what I'm talking about. They have to have the ability to sink it in. I am not a no person. I had plenty of people in my life tell me no so much it made me angry. And I ran into a nice gentleman in New York, very wealthy man. I'm never going to give his name out because he told me never to tell anybody. So I'm like, and he told me how to handle everything in a way to where you have to cover the whole spectrum. My grandfather drew a circle on the table. He put a dot in the middle. He says you have to have everything balanced. If you don't, somebody's going to sue you. And, you know, people throw my name into lawsuits, and I had nothing to do with this, and so it gets thrown back out, you know. So it's like, there's so much negativity. Let's change the system to where it's positive.
Yay. Yeah.
I got to listening to everybody on TikTok complain about, oh, we need a new government, we need this, we need that. Do something about it, man. Quit complaining. Just do something. You know? If everybody sit there and they spent 4 or 5 hours complaining on TikTok or Facebook or whatever thing they want to do it with, just imagine how much you could have done by strategizing positively everything that needs to happen. So
we're here for a reason. All of us at this specific time are here for a reason. Brian, right?
Well, I like to always say that there's no such thing as coincidences. So that's my philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
And I live by that every day.
Yes, definitely. So when the people wake up, I mean, we need people like him. I mean, just to think that this man is willing, went to his family and did this, and they were willing. Well, after he talked him into it, it's a blessing.
I had to talk them into it. They were more worried about somebody trying to kill me because anytime there's revolutionary something, I was told by some very wise people, there's either positive or there's negative. And the negative ones, they like to be tricky to ruin you. I've had to fight that my whole life from when I started in business. People will call the FBI and say, oh, this Jimmy Gandalf's doing something illegal. There's no way he's making that much money, you know. Or there's so many different people that can get in the way of your success by sending other agencies and governmental agencies after you. But, you know, after you fight them, you look at them and, you know, you just got to learn how to fight. There's productive ways of fighting. It's not being 150 pounds trying to take on a 300-pound person. You're going to need a few people to help. So, you know, it's just knowing who's going to be with you and who's not, you know.
Yeah, and there's divine timing also. So, and I've learned that because I was very careful, even for me, not to, like, where I had to stay incognito and not reveal myself as someone very spiritual that had a lot of wisdom early on, because I could have, you know, been offered money or threatened or had my kids threatened. I mean, there's just so much that could have gone wrong. So, but I'm glad that I was able to kind of like branch out. So that's, again, there is that formula of divine timing. So I believe you are not going to be messed with. You're going to be able to do your projects, get them out, and see people tear up, because it's like the past coming back into the future where cost made sense to people, where they weren't taking advantage in the take formula.
Well, if they want to, let's say this in a positive manner. If they want to think we're stupid enough that the food prices rose that quick and they gave an opportunity, I will drive it in their thorn in their side to where they have to lower those prices. Or guess who's going to buy the grocery store networks? Me. In most cases, I am not putting up with this anymore. I was sitting there. I went to the grocery store the other day. I can afford to go to the grocery store. I went there and I bought stuff that would have cost me $35. They're charging me $110 for. I looked at that store manager and he says, "Hey, Jim," I said, "Hey, my butt. You know, you figure out how to make this work better." And went and I talked to Super Value and Kroger's. They can all be bought. Kroger's is publicly traded. I'll buy them out. You buy the shareholders, and you know they got a market cap. There's nobody that cannot be under control and bringing the prices back down. And the one thing is unity. We don't have to go fight a war. We don't have to go do any of that stuff. The way they have lobbying groups, we need them too. We need to go in there and handle our business. You know?
Yep.
It's all up to elections and putting the right people in office. I'm not a political person, and I don't want to be. I'll never run for office. You'll never get that out of me. I don't want any of that kind of nonsense. And, I'll support good people. You know? I'll support people. I'm one vote. I'm not millions of votes. You know? So who cares who I vote for? It's nobody's business. You know? So, I'm sorry I'm vocal on that.
No, it's fine.
Jim, you're right as far as what you talked about on your TikTok. You know, people get on there and they complain and they bitch about this and they bitch about that. But the truth of the matter is, majority of the people are more concerned with their liberties than their freedom. Okay, and part of your freedom is a financial freedom, and you know, it's. I mean, what they're charging in property tax where I live is absolutely mind-boggling. I have a house that I paid $65,000 cash for. Okay, now that's been reassessed at almost $90,000, and they're wanting about $1,900 a year for the privilege of living in the house that I paid cash for. So
that's nothing, Chance.
Yeah.
Well, what happens when I give them the money for their budgets and they don't have to do taxes? See, that has to be restructured. You know?
Can you imagine that?
I mean, you don't have to do a triple bond rating. You don't have to call Moody's. Say your high school needs to be rebuilt. Well, it's not going to come out of your taxes. It's going to come out of a group of people that believe in the light. They believe in positivity, not negativity. They can control a lot of the atmosphere, you know. And trust me, if they take me, I'm going to be in heaven chilling out with the Lord. So you can't really threaten me with that. You just better be able to fight if you threaten me with it. But, you know, I don't take kind of people that try to throw weight around, and try to call other people, try to say, oh, this and that, this guy's, how do we stop him and what he's doing? Well, leave me alone. You do what you do, and I'll do what I do. I'll leave you alone, but you don't want me coming after you. And I'll do my thing, If I start it, I train my sons, my daughters, my nieces, my nephews how to run what I'm doing. This will last for literally hundreds of years. Everybody will be trained the same way.
Wow, what a generation. What a generation you're building as well.
Well, I think all of us can do it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, Jim. It's a beautiful thing. And I want to ask you one question. Did you get that email I sent you earlier tonight?
I saw it, and somehow between that time, I got 140 of them. So wait till I reply back and say,
No problem.
That means
I just wanted to make sure I got the right email address. That's all.
yeah, I'm gonna review that. And I'm gonna talk to the judge tomorrow in Washington. We'll figure out how we can take that control. If I can just deem that land as our housing project, there's nothing the bank or nobody can do about it. It's over. So.
Oh, cool. Wonderful.
So that's where my direction's going with it. So the guy will be happy, and doesn't mean I have to build immediately on there. It's just they can't touch him for a long time. So that's how it works with me.
So you're going to have enough area. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You're going to have area on your land deemed for gardens, things like that, because you were talking about possibly grocery stores. So where I'm at right now down in Florida, there's a place that has hydroponic garden, and they also have a restaurant.
That's awesome.
And it's amazing because it's farm to table. And that's what a lot of people like around here. They don't go to the grocery store. They go to that place.
I think if you grow your own carrots, your own cucumbers, and your own tomatoes, and my God, that is the best salad on the planet. Tied in with a little bit of onion oil. Look out. A little Italian dressing, forget about it. And you grew it. You're sitting there, you're having that. Looking at the sun come up or down. You're like, oh man, that's good stuff. There's just so many ways. I think I loved Ronald Reagan and all that, but boy, he sure did let all these seed generation people come in and mess us up. A lot of people think, oh, he's the greatest president. Like, he was a great guy and all that. I voted for him. I saw the light. But when you start looking at what he did to these farmers and all this other stuff, man, it's just like craziness, People got all these health problems. Everybody's got diabetes now. Everybody. Shoot. I think if we just take our time and do it correctly, there's so much information out there. Let's just go back to a farming book from 1934 or 1940 and let's farm. Besides the pesticides they use, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you don't even need pesticides if you know how to electroculture. So electroculture is the next thing. I can sit there and take some copper wire. Wrap it around a wood dowel, and stick it in the ground and make my garden 3 times the size of what it is now. People need to know about that. They don't know.
Let's do it. Hey, I'm not a negative person. I'll give everybody a chance to do what they got to do, and everybody be on the same problem. Where the problem is with my type of management, people get afraid when something's wrong. They say, oh, I don't, and I say, hey, what's going on? What's the timeline on that? Oh, I ran into this. Just tell me what the problem is. Tell me what we're running into. Literally, I have more attorneys than any individual on this planet. I'm just telling you. I've got attorneys in every country. There's ways to get things handled. It's just, if there's a problem, let's fix it. I think, I've thought about helping out Caterpillar Financial and John Deere Financial. everything that becomes a positive system to where it's going to be productive, you know? I mean, the door company, I started thinking about who's going to hinder these houses to be built. I mean, I had a friend that, one of the largest lumber companies in the world, called me and said, Jim, I'll supply all the lumber for your housing project. That's beautiful, you know? It's awesome, you know? Let's look at the roofing systems. Let's figure out what the roofing system is. You know, everybody can work together with their own knowledge. I'm not a person to sit there and say, no, I can't do this. This isn't going to happen. No, I'm a person who said, okay, well, I like it. Just help me understand it. You know?
Well, you're in luck because next year
I don't understand it. Just help me understand it. I'm not a person to say, you know, that's why I've had friends since I've been 9 years old and who I am. We don't get mad at each other. We're saying, hey, man, what are you doing? You know? What happened? You know? How did this happen? Okay, well, let's fix it. I had a friend of mine, I loaned him $400,000. He had no way to pay me back. So he started ignoring me. There goes my buddy that goes to the Super Bowl with me. We do fun stuff together. His wife and my wife are buddies. And all of a sudden, they went ghost. I was like, look, man. I went over to his house. I said, look, what is wrong with you? You know, you're worth more to me than $400,000. What are you doing? You know? And he said, well, I come up with this copper mine that we got in Wyoming. So in order for me to change the deed to your name, we have to have it surveyed by the United States. I was very calm. I was like, okay, well, what if I don't want this money? He says, you got to take it. Otherwise, we're not friends anymore. I got to pay you something. I was like, okay. So here I am, 10,000 feet up in the air in the middle of the snow, freezing my rear end off. And it is not me. And this guy with the government, they're out there doing the survey. He looked at me and he says, well, I got good news, I got bad news. I said, man, come on with it. He says, well, you don't get to have the land. I said, why? He says, there's so much gold and all this other stuff on it. You can't have it. But you can have the mineral rights. And he said, okay, well, I'll take the mineral rights. He says, well, I don't think you quite understand what we mean. We have to put a value of $1.3 trillion on this land right now. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. Let me call my attorney. You know, a whole different.
I think we lost him, guys.
Oh shoot!
Call
That was
back
a
in,
good
Jim.
story.
Yeah. What do you think so far, Debbie and Brian?
I think that his dream, God told him exactly what to do, and I feel very fortunate to take and be on this chat.
How about you, Brian?
So what I think is he's got the base template for what needs to begin. And I understand his formula. I understand it's all very third dimensional. But what's really nice is that he can be very expansive and open to a lot of other ideas that will make the homes even better and probably more energy efficient. And I was, before he cut out and I know he was still talking, I was going to say, just wait till next year. I mean, imagine the technologies that are coming.
He's calling right now, but he wants to move on this next week.
Okay, where do we meet? I'm ready.
We're gonna meet on Zoom. Here he is. Go ahead, Jim.
I lost you.
Yeah, I know. We're back.
Oh, I am.
You are back.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jim.
So I don't know what you missed there, but within that process of that land in Wyoming, that took me to a whole different level of thinking. And, so when there's a problem, the best way is to attack it on a human point of basis to where, I'm not willing to lose a friendship over money at all. So,
yeah, are the homes going to be land patent as well?
Well, we're working on this. I think it's going to be a lien.
A lien, okay.
UCC1 the UCC one's helping me with the strategy on that.
Okay.
So,
Go ahead, Deb.
well, let's just put it this way: you can't put an adult bookstore or some kind of nightclub or anything outside the base of the family there.
Right.
But,
So what did your buddy do? Getting back to your buddy, what did your buddy do when he found out it was worth so much money, that area that you got? Did he have any idea?
he passed out because I made him a partner. I didn't say, hey, thanks for the land. No, he couldn't breathe. He couldn't breathe.
I don't think I could either. After he said, "Here, you got to take it," then you found out, oh, yeah. Well, that's an
He was having
accident.
a tough time with that one. He was like going, I had this all along. And I was like going, man, you didn't know. How you know?
Yeah.
His dad was like freaking out. He said, I knew that land was valuable. And I laughed at him. I said, sure you did, George. So, I mean, it's good to have good, I'm just not going to lose friends over, money. And I think everybody needs to understand money as an element to get things done. It's not an element to hang over somebody's head to drive them into a mental corridor they can't get out, So I think parents, when they loan their kids money and they constantly bug them and drive them to another level, like, you lose everything. Their love goes out the window, everything. So I don't think it's appropriate for people to act in that manner. So.
Where are you at on the drug situation in the United States and in the world? How do you feel about that?
Well, I think we got to heal people. We got to create an opportunity for the people that are selling the drugs to make money and to find a better way in life. But, I also look at it as a double-bladed sword edge there, because if you're looking at what they have to deal with, babies are crying, they don't make any money, it's an easy thing. Go with Big Pimp and get your gold chains and, he got money now, but if we take it and give them solid jobs, give them, we create the opportunity, I think that'll go away. Which kind of money we're talking about dealing with, I'm not really worried about drug dealers. I'm not worried about drug companies. Really going to have to change their practices soon, because I think America's had enough.
You're right.
Tell me about
Yeah.
that.
I know we have. We have had more than enough.
I have too.
That's why I sell those
Yeah,
drugs.
I've had neuropathy in my feet, and I changed it to where all these different things that I'm taking and I'm eating, my diet's changed. And instead of taking gabapentin, and all of a sudden I can feel my feet. It's different, Life is different when you have an awakening, and they've been so sheltered. People by our own media being bought and sold. How can you get out of that? Well, you have to have a strong group of people come in and not care what the media says. I think through Donald Trump running for office, everybody knows the media is corrupt.
I love
So
this
now
guy.
it's exposed, and I don't have to expose it. It's already exposed. So they're already a mess.
Miss Debbie, tell him about your product you sell.
Oh, I have a product. Yes, it is a Nikola Tesla technology. A gentleman from Russia went and bought a company from Italy, and there were three scientists that were making these lozenges. And he did not leave the office until they bought the company. It's called APL Go. It is a plant-based product, and it's all natural. It's electrified, it's spun down, and they have everything to do with healing. So if you have something wrong with you, like diabetes, there's a lozenge for that. If you have inflammation, if you have blood clots, there's drops for that. If you need energy, there's drops for that. So this product that I've been taking and telling people about, it's not the fact that I'm got into this, it's the fact that I wanted to heal. It's the light that has been put into this product and the plant that after they spin it down, then they've got the ability to take and detox and heal themselves and get ready for what is going to be the new world. So that's what this is all about. So this DNA product is absolutely wonderful. It saved me because they said I need my knees done. And I said, no, I wasn't going to do it. So there's a lot of things out there that what Brian was saying, holistic, everything holistic now. Cut the doctors out. We can heal ourselves. So that's what this product's about. Doc takes it. Everybody takes it. And you need to take it because you got to get the light into your body. And that's what this is about.
That's fine. That's fine. Gene, make sure I know what it is. So.
Oh yeah, I'll send you the info.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
I think once everybody just has had enough of what people tell them, I think it's like we're on a call together and radio or however you want to put it, and it's the careness of another person. You know, you could care about somebody else and give them good information to where they can thrive off of. I think that's how we need to change the atmosphere into thriving instead of hate. It's really, I don't care what people's religions, backgrounds are, or whatever. If you need help, we're going to figure out a way to help you. You know? I think that's how we have to change the mindset. You know? I mean, there's nothing. I mean, I used to, my friends that chewed tobacco as a kid, and they trying to act cool and, you know, out there and trying to do this and that, man. I was a complete opposite. I opened up a can of tuna and I act like I was chewing tobacco, but it was tuna. You know? But everybody used to laugh at me. They said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Man, I'll chew this tuna. You go ahead and chew that stuff." You know?
Oh.
Said, well, what are you getting out of it? I said, "Well, I'm high as a kite." They would laugh at me. But, you know.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
Oh
Just
God.
unbelievable. I just I feel very fortunate to take and be on here speaking to you tonight. Everybody, I just, you know, apparently I was supposed to be here, and it's just fantastic to have all these people listening all over the United States and the world, to have the privilege to listen to you, to what you have to offer.
Well,
Thank you.
It's a team of people. It's the UCC one, the World Martial Authority. There's other people that are part of this. I just know how to speak well. So, and plus, you know, my family is doing well with money. So that we were able to express, you know, positive. I don't think there's anybody in my family that wouldn't drop what they're doing to come and help somebody else out. You know, I think it's just the way we was raised. Somehow we lost all of that. And I'm not sure I'm the only one that was raised that way. You know what I mean? Going to bingo on a Saturday night in the Catholic Church, man, that was insane. Everybody had fun, you know? It wasn't like, you know, I mean, I don't know. I just, maybe I'm crazy or something. I'm not longing for yesterday. I want to install the same kind of, you know, if you let your kid walk home from one friend's house to another, all the neighbors are making sure that kid gets home safe. You know, they're out on the front porch. Man, I don't know if you guys knew this, but when I was a kid, everybody used to just hang out in the front porch, and and each neighbor, they'd have something to say back and forth. But some would be funny comments, and some would be other. You get water balloon fights with your neighbor. There's all kinds of things that happen as a kid.
Yeah, the old school technology. But I think
put that back in a positive light.
Well, I was thinking it's not so much as positive. Sorry for cutting in. It's more so transparency. So I can tell just by listening to you how very transparent you are in your formula. And I am very appreciative of it because we're so sick of fakes. And that's all we're getting is this clown show, illusions of grandeur. And we really just want transparency. So thank you for being transparent and reflecting and mirroring back exactly how we all feel, but more importantly, kind of what we all want to create in that next now moment.
I'm very impressed with you, Jim, and I'm also to the point where I just want you to understand that everybody here would love to be on your team. Everybody here would love to help you in your quests.
Right.
And I have been helping people since I have been on the internet for about a year now. I started out on the Kent Dunn show, and then I came to Hamilton Radio, and the show has grown in leaps and bounds. And as a constitutional lawyer, people cannot afford attorneys. They call me and they ask me for help. And some people I just cannot help because they get a hold of me at the 11th hour and it's too late. But the people that I have helped, I have a list a mile long. From Mary, who I saved her $17,000 judgment. I have helped 5 people in the last week with their houses being repossessed. We haven't fixed the problem exactly, but we're coming up with solutions, and we are. I've actually helped one lady move a prisoner from death row to getting where he can see about getting out on parole. Okay. He moved from death row to parole. I can't talk about that. It's privileged information, but I haven't even talked about it for a year. I did that before I even went on Kent Dunn's show for the first time. We miss Kent Dunn tonight. We wish he was here, but hopefully he'll be back with us next week. He's quite an individual. He's very resourceful, very knowledgeable, and I'm sure he would feel the same way that we do about you. So,
good.
So I just want you to know that if you want us on your team, we're there. Okay. I have a lot of experience being 71 years old that I could bring to the table, not only in law enforcement and in law, but also in in other fields. I'm a professional entertainer. I used to be before the casinos quit hiring our band because we're too expensive. And I have worked with major recording artists, and I'm not very popular as a musician around here because at 71 years old, I'm still growing as a musician. I'm still growing as an individual. I'm still growing as a constitutional lawyer, and I will keep growing until the day the Lord calls me home. Okay, but
I think this is a calling right here. I think this is. I had a vision.
And we've answered. We're answering. Okay, we're here for you. You need us?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and the thing is that I had a vision that I had to show 10 years love. Now, I don't know what happens if I don't, but I don't think when the Lord gives you a task, He's not looking for you not to succeed.
oh, listen.
And everybody should understand asking for guidance all the time
Yes.
breeds success.
Yes. Now I'm going to tell you a little story about Debbie and I's relationship, okay? Because Debbie and I had a relationship on the phone, and we knew each other before she even got associated with APL Go, and then we brought her on the show, okay? But I was driving. Listen, Jim, I tell you, you got to hear. I get downloads from God, and they just hit me like this. Wow, just like that. And I'm not kidding. And I was driving down Avenue L, about 20 blocks from my house. I was driving down Avenue L, and I wasn't even thinking about anything. And I got a download from God, and He says, "Go call Debbie and have her get what was Chris's candy. Get Candy 2 pieces of currency." And I called Debbie right away, and I said, "Look, these currencies are on sale." I guess God just slammed me upside the face, made me pull into Hy-Vee, and He said, "Call Debbie," and she did, and that's the last powerful download I've had. Now I've had other downloads that are milder, but if you open yourself up to God, if you open your ears, you open your eyes, and most of all, if you open your heart, you're going to hear Him. He's going to talk to you, and you will be able to talk to Him.
Yeah, it works. I'm telling you.
It absolutely does.
There's so much out there for people to be positive. It's free. It takes the same amount of energy to be positive as it does negative.
That's exactly what that's what I said. These people will sit down in front of their easy chair. They'll sit on their easy chair and they'll watch the damn football game and bitch about this and bitch about that. What are you doing about it? Well, I can't do anything because my son is handicapped, and he's, we're working on things for him. But I'll tell you what I'm doing about it. I got a radio show, and I got some great people that come on my radio show and people that help me produce it and direct it. And if it wasn't, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing my part as I can. I have limited resources, but I am going to do everything to the limit of my resources. Just like that, I told you Saturday, Doc. I told Doc, I said about a potential show we could throw in on Saturday, and we're still working on that, okay? So the Debbie's working on that, and we'll let you know how that happens. But it's working together, just like Jim said. Neighbors working together, everybody looking out for little kids. I'm telling you what, I saw 2 dogs on the back road coming from the nursing home between New London and West Point, Iowa. And I saw 2 little dogs right out, and I could tell you they lived right there, but I don't know what they were doing right out by the road. And I went around them, and I thought, no, you're not going to do that. So I stopped. I backed up a little bit, and I went to them, and I started to walk toward them, and they started going back toward their house. And obviously the lady that lived there, she says, "Oh, my God, how'd you children get out?" And she said, and she waved at me, and she says, "Thank you," because she didn't even know they got out. They could have gotten hit. There's 2 beautiful little dogs, one wiener dog and one, I can't remember. It wasn't German Shepherd. They looked like a bit, I don't know. It doesn't matter. But all that matters is I couldn't just drive by and let them get hit. And that's, you got to do what you got to do. And as long as you're working in the Spirit of the Lord, and this is what I've got in me, okay? I tell people this all the time, okay? You know what the number one thing that goes through my head on any decision that I make, Jim? What would Jesus do? WWJD. And every business that I open in the future is going to have WWJD in wood, carved into wood, because Jesus was a carpenter. And I'm going to do, and I've made that promise to him, and I intend on following through. So I got to keep my positive energy up no matter what my financial condition is. Now, I'm not bragging on myself, not by any means. Okay, I'm relaying a story. You can consider me a bullshit artist, or you could consider me somebody that's just communicating. Okay, but tonight when you said something about my bank account, I wasn't worried about that. I was worried about my brother Jim, and that's why I didn't. I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about him. Brother Jim, you would love him if you ever met him. You would absolutely love him. He goes to Bible study every week, and I don't know how any woman would have divorced him, because, first of all, he's a little bit younger than me. He's very handsome for an older gentleman, but he goes to Bible study once or twice a week. He's always around good people. He wouldn't say S if he had a mouthful of it, okay? And his heart is pure. He's a pure-hearted individual. And why all these bad things are happening to him, I told him, I said, just persevere. We're going to get through this. You know the story of Job in the Bible. So keep Job in your heart. Keep his story in your heart. And keep the lessons that you're learning now in your heart, because he has helped people like everybody needs to help him. Okay? That's all I can say about that without getting into too many personal details, but I'll tell you what, 3 thumbs up for Brother Jim. And now we got another Brother Jim. His name's Brother Jim Gandorf. And I hope I can say your name right. Say your name right, okay?
Here we go.
Well, the thing is, Jim, we want to make your dream come true while you're making our dreams come true. Yeah. And I think that's what's happening here, right?
Hand in hand. Yeah, it'll happen with hand in hand. I think in the meantime, I do have another job that I have to buy back over that everybody is encouraged during this pandemic thing. So I'm just going to buy out people's mortgages. I'm just going to go in and, like I was talking to one bank officer today, and I was helping them out. I said, "What debt is your bank in?" And it's like, I don't know if I can give you that information. I said, "Well, it's public knowledge. You want me to tell you?" And they go, "Yeah, I'd be kind of curious." So I explained their debt of their bank, and I said, "Well, I'm willing to transfer you money to pay for all that debt. I need a contract from your bank stating that you're going to, the notes that you have out there are going to be cleared, and our attorneys are going to get a hold of you." And I said, "Well, I've never heard of anything like this." I said, "It's probably time you get your president on the phone with me." And he says, "Well, I don't even know how to do that." No more than 45 minutes later, the president of the bank was calling me. I said, "Now, are you a branch president, or what kind of functionality do you have?" They said, "No, I'm the president of the bank. I'm the CEO." I said, "Okay, well, this is our plan." And they said, "Well, how do we activate it?" I said, "Well, I'm going to let you talk to my attorney in Delaware, and they're going to set you up, and we're going to activate what we're talking about." And so we created our own digital currency with the government that's only for banks to buy back.
Oof. Wow.
And it's gold backed, right? It's gold backed.
Land, which is everything. I found out just having gold isn't enough. You have to have the land that owns the gold and all the other minerals and everything else inside of it. So it's very powerful.
Huh.
Our organization has about $3.5 trillion worth of land in Virginia alone. So we're just gonna. I got tired of hearing about all this Nasari nonsense, and all this other stuff, and everybody was waiting for it to happen. And then when it came time to happen, it never happened. I said to a group of people, I said, look, let's just make this happen. It's not that out of reach, you know. Let's do it. Buy back the debt of these banks. They got to sign an agreement that the debt, that their patronage, their account holders, they're clear of their debt too. If they don't do it, we own the bank because I gave them this much money to clear the debt.
On the back.
Oh, I like that. Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, I wish I could walk in and do that.
Try to take, you know, that money. Oh, we're going to go trade it and do this or that, and then pay off theirs later. No. Everybody take care of now. You want money to go trade? I'll take you to trade. That's it. You know. But
Yeah,
because
Yeah,
one bank officer said that he called the government to find out who I was, and they all laughed at him. And he said, "Well, what are you talking about?" And I said, "Yeah. Did you call this? Did you call? What number did you call?" So he Googled it. I said, "Okay, that's what Frank down the street calls. Not you. You're a bank. You have an account. You have an account number from the Federal Reserve. You call a certain number. And don't tell me you called somebody ever again and you didn't do it." And, you know, it's just like, you know, people just get so evil, thinking they know everything. Me, I don't care if somebody knows everything. Maybe they did go to school longer than I. I got real life challenges that I make money. Okay? Maybe I don't know a better system or a better way. Maybe I don't know certain things. But what I do know, I strive at. So, that's where I'm at. So,
He's on fire.
I'm telling you, there's not a thing that he can't do and a thing that he can't make happen.
I just want to touch him. I just want to go here, you know.
But we have to keep in mind this: the only
his wife will hit you in the noggin, he says.
I didn't.
So I understand that. So this is why it's really important to kind of like pay attention to all that's transpiring. So none of this would be happening without the cleanup. Like, just because you don't see it doesn't mean that it isn't happening.
That's right.
Because
Correct.
it does. And only people that have, well, not just only people, but people who have served in the military and have done special, I would say, temporary assigned duties to understand a lot of these very hidden formulas or tactical formulas, even if they're
Special ops.
Special ops, you're just not gonna be able to know. And yes, I do agree with him on the Gessera is very burned out. It's old. It's out of date in the principle of really what it means from a human perspective, because it's still very materialistic. It still has us beholden to systems that not only are fractured, they're not functioning from a holistic format where it's all about the broken shoes, the common people. No one should be paying any taxes except for new tax on things. Everyone should be able to have their home. Everyone should be able to educate themselves safely and soundly, not only from a spiritual side, but also from a preparedness side,
right,
to where
right,
if anything happens to the parent, the kids will be able to step up and
That's right.
survive.
God-given right. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and I know next year is going to be a very amazing time, and we're all burnt out, but in the end, we really need to keep our vibration focused on just ourselves and maintaining ourselves so we can see what the new year looks like. I know it's hard. And also, I wanted to touch base, if it's okay, real quick on galactic news, because I know someone asked on that.
Well,
So-
I got to tell you something on that. You wouldn't
go
believe
ahead.
what's going on galactic-wise. I'm just telling you. I got a lot of inside information on that. And there's a lot going on, and you're right about that. That is also something else to be thinking about. You know, I can't. I got contacted by some friends through a friend because I know a lot of important people. I know a lot of funny people. I know a lot of people, and they told me straight up that I have to go to some city in Egypt that is underground that used to be an alien civilization that, I have to go learn this language and communicate with there's knowledge on fighting some kind of enemy that's coming at us. I laughed at him for an hour, I said, what are you talking about? I said, Jimmy, you're the only one ready for this. I said, what are you talking about? Somebody else called me in. So I guess apparently I'm going to a thing in the desert, which it'll be interesting, but, there has to be other people besides myself that understands this stuff,
Well, yeah, all I can say is when you come face to face with people, and I'm
Okay.
just going to call them people, and you can say, you know what, you are the ugliest thing I ever saw, and smile at them, but it's a pleasure meeting you, and they'll say, you're just as ugly. I had to meet you. Then that is a compliment, and they will take it as a compliment.
Okay, great.
So believe me, I know that there's so many people that aren't ready for what it means to be an interstellar or hold the idea of what it means to be interstellar society. So because I remember and I know, and yes, and people would think, normal people would think I'm a whack job, and I'm like, I don't care because I'm not here for you. I'm here for the ones that want to pay attention. So, yeah,
I think
definitely.
you're right. I mean, there's just so much out there that everybody shuts their minds off for. So a lot of people present things to me because I'm open-minded. And what's going on here? That's real. But guys, I got to mute this for a minute because I have to communicate with somebody. So you guys want to give me about 2 minutes?
Oh, that's
No
fine.
problem.
Yeah.
No
Can I,
problem.
do galactic news
Yeah,
real
you
quick?
can call right back, Jim. We're still going to be here for a little bit while. Okay.
Do your update, Brian.
Go ahead, Brian.
Okay. So as you know, I don't communicate with Kent Dunn. So he is dealing with the Kings. The Kings are, I guess, kind of in their closed meetings and sessions and dealing with whatever ideas. It's kind of like not scrambled. Let's picture scrambled eggs loosely scrambled. So some of the clear area is another group where they kind of have their ideas for Earth. And then you have the Kings that have their ideas for Earth. And then you have the Etorthans, who are the tall grays, that have their ideas for Earth. So you have this very unmixed scrambled eggs to where they want things a specific way. But in the end, the ones that are going to make sure what happens, because it's going to be the Kings with the Angelics. So cleanup is on all aisles now. All
Yeah.
aisles.
Yes.
Because they're really...
They're stepping things up, aren't they, Brian?
Well, They are and they aren't. So they are in the areas that make sense, which means it probably is more countries that are more detrimental than because we're, I know we're hurting, but we're not suffering, if that makes sense. We're not suffering as in we are a third world country. Because of we're not suffering to a degree, they're working somewhere else and cleaning up areas that have exhibiting literally like destitution. So a lot of them are in Africa. A lot of them are also in China, and they're in Europe too. And there are some that are actually negotiating and also doing some work with the inner realms. So, but that's something more off to the side, and it's kind of to schedule kind of certain individuals that have the opportunity to kind of negotiate and get to know your neighbor type scenario. And whether that is a prerequisite
where he can only say 2 words
for the transition, I don't know, or if this is just something that needs to be done. Other than that, again, the angelics say, please just ignore everything, turn off your TV or take a nap. Don't go see your family if you don't like your family, unless you paid for plane tickets, then just go see her. But that's all the galactic news from, all those levels. And just self-care, self-respect, and gratitude. Yep.
I have something to add to that. As far as some legal information, there was originally 500,000 warrants for individuals that were supposed to be arrested and processed. Okay. Now we're down to 150 warrants that need to be processed. And each one of those can have up to 90 people on those warrants. Well, what you don't know that I just found out this week from General Steve was there have been trials, secret trials going on all over, and they're getting put away. And I also heard, and unconfirmed, but it feels right. It sounds right. Do you remember when Trump was in office and he talked about buying Iceland? You remember that? I think he bought it. And I think that's where a lot of these political prisoners are going. Sometimes he'll just hit at something and then boom, he's done it already. Okay. Remember, the guy's playing 5D chess. So a lot of these prisoners, if they're not being immediately executed, they're being transported to Iceland. And this is unconfirmed, but the information has been coming from multiple sources, and it feels right. So anybody that says there's nothing going on behind the scenes is wrong. There's all kind of things going on behind the scenes. Now, I'm going to tell you, Trump doesn't want to be made a liar. We've had too many false starts. So Christmas Eve, we're expecting some miracles. And white hats, Trump, all you guys, we're waiting for you. We're expecting the miracles. Just like Jim Gandalf just said, we got a lot of work to do in a lot of different departments. And everybody here on this show, including Brother Kent Dunn, who's working for you right now, is going to be.
Hey, I'm back on here. I'm just letting you know.
Go ahead, finish. Chance, let Chance finish, and then you can talk. Go ahead.
We're all working for you, one way or the other. Whether it's Debbie and APL Go, whether it's Immunosystem Advance, whether it's Maryland with the
Trust.
the raw dog food. It's whether it is. I mean, yeah, raworigins.pet. Even our sponsors are working for you. Okay. And I own FortMadisonGuitars.com. And as most of you know, the store it's still there. It's still operating, but we have had the worst Christmas we've ever had. Worst Christmas season. We are making practically no sales. And this business has been in business for 11 years. My business has been in business for 11 years. And COVID just about destroyed us, but I'm not the only one. Every music store within a 200-mile radius is suffering, and they're selling nothing either. So that's why I asked for donations for the show. And also, everybody already knows, but I like reminding the newbies. We had some major disasters here at the house, and I asked people for donations. They graciously gave. And my wife's insurance changed, and they started taking her Social Security check. And because I used to work for the NSA and the Illinois Bureau of Investigation, and I used to do undercover work, multiple different identities, multiple Social Security numbers, now my Social Security is all screwed up, and they can't seem to straighten it out. And everybody that I ever worked for is dead. Okay, so I got nobody to go back on. So anyway, we appreciate your donations. Don't forget, we've got these exemption cards. They're $20 for a pair of them. You've seen them before. And I'm going to let Jim come back on and just go for it, brother.
Yeah, I think there's other elements out there that nobody really thinks about. And there are so many people that are, they just, think they're important. They're part of certain families and things like that. And I just didn't want to be one of those people. I wanted to do something. I just wanted to, enough of the talk of, oh, it's horrible, or this is that's going on. I said, we got to do something. So it really troubled me for 3 or 4 years. I said, we got access to all this money between all these different families I deal with. And somebody said, oh, Jim, you can't give somebody a house for free. They won't respect it. They'll look at the project. They live there for free, and they can't even upkeep that. It's like going, you can't be serious, are you? I said, wait a minute here. Let's give them something. Make the payment. See, I was like at $850 a month, and my uncle stepped in and lowered it to $500. He told me how to do it. I said, okay, well, let's do it then. I'll do it. It's not like, people around me, they say, oh, you idiot, this, that, No, it's like, well, hey, what if we tried this or tried that? And I think if everybody gets back to that in society through test trials and eliminations of the issues, and by saying, oh, my way is the best way, I'm not even saying my way right now is the best way, but it's a start. If we start and we run into a problem, let's fix it, that's all I'm saying. Everybody's got to work together. That's how it's got to be,
Yep. I just want to say something. As far as the recreational vehicle recaps go, guys, we're there. Okay, we are there. You're just going to have to wait for the contact. And the other thing is, your wise.com account is not a bank account, and you're not double dipping by having a wise.com account. It is not double dipping. It's you buying a currency in another country, whether you buy it online or whether you buy it, from eBay or Amazon or currency dealer. It's your currency. It's you're buying it, and it's not double dipping. So I want that rumor stopped right there. And everything is getting ready to happen. Regardless of what you're hearing about the med beds, they are. Sky Prince did go through the med bed, and she's keeping a low profile intentionally because everybody involved in this is going to have to keep a low profile because I canceled my dog video and I explained earlier why, because I don't want to be a target. And that's all I've got on the recreational vehicle update. So go ahead, Jim. We want to hear more from you.
Oh, okay. Well, let's put it into perspective here. Until we start being concerned with what we're being told, until we start being concerned with other people's actions and the hurt from other people, I don't think we're going to experience what love really is. Yes, we know love from our family, our kids being born, dogs, cats, pets. Yeah, but I'm talking about true love in the sense that you're really discerned of getting people to the right heart and soul of really taking care of each other. And I'm not putting it on a contest of socialism or communism or democracy in society. I don't really care what people are. What I'm saying is that we have to look to the guy down the street that we haven't heard from in a while. What's it going to take for us to go over there and say, hey, man, how you doing? I haven't heard from you in a while. You know? Or, you know, how did other people's businesses make it through the strategy of making them to where they're profitable, to where they can provide? I think when people say, oh, give me $19.95 a month and I will teach you this or that, you know, I have no problem with people trying to make money, but when you're talking like, you know, a few 100,000 people paying that's an awful lot of money. What are you doing with that money to help out people? You know? I am not a person towards people that make money in business. What I am very strongly is, what are you going to do to look out for everybody in your community, not just your family? You know? And I think that's a religion of love. You know, I don't know. You know, it seems like every time in the news they talk about gun violence because, you know, they have an agenda with this now.
Right.
For some reason they want to take away everybody's guns. And I think everybody is intelligent enough on this radio to understand exactly why they want to take away your guns. But, you know, I think if everybody, where they meditate, they pray, whatever they do, they start looking toward solutions. And this ate my soul up to come up with this plan for housing. And all the shysters come along, oh, I want a program. So that's why I cut out everybody trying to invest in what I'm trying to do. I'm not looking for investment. What I'm looking for is people with the same kind of heart to look out after your neighbor, to love your neighbor as you would love yourself. You know? So that's my key. And at that point, guys, I have to, I'm buying and selling money in Asia right now, so I got to focus a little bit. So.
Thank you for being here, Jim. It was a great.
What a guy. Thank you.
We appreciate you. You have Gene and I's contact information, and we appreciate you being on the show. And
Get a hold of me.
God bless you. You got Debbie's phone number right here on the chat, so and her contact information. So God bless you, and thank you for coming on our show. We really appreciate it.
Guys, ever want me on the radio again? I'll just call this phone number because downloading all this other stuff is a mess for me.
I get it. No problem.
So,
We should just be a regular.
I want to start building these homes for everybody this next year. irregardless of whether you guys have your own home or not. I'll help you sell it. I'll help you do whatever. So I'm going to need people in the right frame of minds to help get this done. I don't want the homes being built dragging out anywhere from 8 to 10 months. I think with a proper system and the proper kind of conduit, spit on your hands and rub them together, I think we can get these houses and get people going. I'm reviewing a system to take homeless people off the streets in California.
Wow.
And it's going through a bunch of think tanks to get it done. I think homeless situation is a major problem, and I think it needs to be attacked with love instead of, oh, you got to do this, 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 and this. Yeah, that's why they're in the street anyway. They don't like rules. So, some people, drugs put them there. We got to look at the whole surveillance of the situation instead of complaining about the problem. So that's my point of view. And I always say this to people that I first met. It's like the Lord has taught me how to love myself. So as I love myself, I have to love my neighbors as well. So as a dead point of thought, until the next time we talk, and if anybody has any questions, pertinent questions, make sure you get a hold of Gene in a way that, and we can answer them in any format that anybody wants to. Okay?
Well, get a hold of me. Gene, give him
We're going to exchange
my
all
number.
information, and we're all going to meet next week sometime. I already arranged it with Jim. So
Good.
we're going to
Thank
meet
you.
before the show, probably maybe an hour or two before the show.
Great.
So just be ready, guys.
Okay, no problem.
Absolutely. I'm there.
I want to
Thank
wish him
you.
a Merry
Thank you.
Christmas and a
Thank you
Happy
so
New
much.
Year. And we're going to see him next week.
Thanks.
Yep, that sounds good,
I'm
Jim.
going to be flying around a lot. But it's not hard for me to get on the phone. There's government people I have to meet about. They want to. One thing, we're going to put people in a nice community. Now we have to protect them. I have to know what kind of police agencies, what fire departments, ratio, EMTs, a hospital. All this stuff has to be arranged, and now I have to understand the nitty gritty of that stuff. So, may the Lord bless you guys well during Christmas. And Gene, you can call me anytime. It doesn't matter.
God bless you, brother.
God bless, Jim.
That's wonderful.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you so
Merry
much.
Christmas. God bless.
Merry Christmas, my friend.
Okay, thank you guys.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Blessings.
Well, I just have to add to that we already talked about this, right? Him and I. And we talked about, smart cities, because that was a big thing that was coming up in a lot of the communities. He's not building a smart city. He's building a community, okay, where you can go anywhere in the community and around the community and outside the community for whatever. Because we're working on two things with him. We're working on, I don't know if you guys saw the water system that pulls water out of the air.
Yes.
Water out of the air. Anywhere you are in a desert, anywhere you are within the humidity from the air. It's a humidifier, and you filter it, and it goes down to water, and you can drink. It's drinkable water. All right.
Yep.
That's one thing. He's working on that. We're working on that together. And also we're working on energy cars. I don't know if Elon Musk is going to get involved, but energy cars that pull the same kind of hydrogen out of the air anywhere. You don't need to fill it up. It recharges itself. It don't have to be electric. It could just be hydrogen. It runs off hydrogen, water. It runs off water. You're pulling the water out of the sky. It transfers it into a thing, and then, damn, you got your fuel. You don't need to fill up. You don't need to pay for it. It's God. It's God giving it to us in there.
Yes.
So we're working all that. So let me just say this. He's going to pay your debt off. He's going to pay your mortgage off. He's going to pay all your credit cards off. All right? He's going to create more wealth in this country, because now people are going to have more money to spend on other people and other businesses. So the businesses are going to flourish. The people around the businesses are going to flourish. As long as they're honest, with integrity, and have been there for years, no problem. Even corporations are welcome. But like he said, if it's holistic, I'm buying it. Bragg's, I'll buy Katy Perry out. I'll buy the apple cider vinegar company, and we'll produce Bragg's apple cider vinegar the way it's supposed to be.
That's right.
See,
All
that's
right.
what I like about him.
It used to be the best on the market. Now it's crap.
Right.
That's
because
right.
he's using his influence through
Oh.
God, whatever way you want to talk about it, to
Right.
help everybody he can. Not just some people, not rich people, but everybody. And that's what I see from him. So
yeah,
I'm
he doesn't
excited.
care.
I'm excited, Debbie, because he reached out to me.
Gosh,
There's a reason.
that's
for that.
not. There's a reason. There's always a reason for
Divine
everything.
intervention.
Let me say this. I've been manifesting for a while now, and this is part of the manifestation. I've been seeing this coming. I've seen it here. When he told me we can do this and we do that, and I told Chance about it, and Chance is like, well, we really don't know much about him. I'm like, yeah, but we're going to get to know him. You tell me what you think about him when you talk to him. Is he the real guy? What do you think?
I think he's legit. I think he's just like everybody else. I think he's searching for answers, but the search on the 3D plane is going to be with love and helping your fellow man. It's not going to be thinking about me, or giant corporations. I think his head is in the right place. I'm getting no bad vibrations from him as an empath. I'm getting nothing but positive energy. It's just I want, I'm just curious to see how the direction goes,
Right.
and I'm going with the flow. And he's still searching for things just like we are. Okay, so let's just work with him until we see how things work out. I mean, they might get to the point where each one of us is a part of his machinery, and if we're part of his machinery, then we are going to help other people prosper besides ourselves. So that I see nothing wrong at this time.
Well, I think that there's a lot of people that the people that came to him that said he needed to go to Egypt. I think his eyes are open, but they're going to get more open.
Yes,
Oh
But
boy!
I think that, like Brian said, he's
Oh,
thinking
boy,
3D, but I think he's advancing more. And I don't know if he wanted to say anything or not, because I think he knows a little more
He
than
can't.
what he's saying.
So I got tons of goosebumps. He had to stop
Yes.
because there's a lot of things
Oh,
that
yeah.
he's privileged to currently that he cannot say or identify. So because he's already
And he's very creative. Yes.
well, it's not just necessarily the creativity, it's the frequency of how he's at this stage where he's ready to expand to new avenues.
There you
And
go.
in
There
order
you
for the
go.
new
He's not
avenue-
afraid of anything. He's not afraid of them.
yes.
He's
So
got all his ducks in a row. Like he said, he's got his whole family, all his generations that
So-
know what to do if something happens to him. So this legacy is going to live on.
He's got to be
We're in a new
protected.
earth right now, right? This is
he doesn't need
we're part of
protection.
it.
He doesn't.
He doesn't need protection because we're like in the end times.
Right.
Well, it's not we that are in the end times. It's
It's
they
there.
that are
Right.
in the end times.
Yeah.
So they're very sparse, sporadic. They can't do as much as they would like to. And plus, you've got tons of angels here.
Yeah.
You
Yes, we
think
do.
I mean, I could have been taken out a couple years back.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Me too.
You too. So there is this divine, what I would like to call our own inner revelation of things to come, things better, far better than we can't even perceive. So it's going to be interesting. And I noticed someone also asked about like multiple arcs. Don't worry about arcs. If you're talking about the Ark and the Covenant, one I think is already destroyed. I can't verify that. And the Ark is an archive. Okay, it just has all DNA for everything that pertains to this planet. Okay, and one is on the Federation ship, one of the Federation ships. Not going to tell you which ship, but it's protected in case anything happened to the planet and to the only Ark.
Brian, let me say this too, because this is important. He knows our humbleness. He knows what we're about. He knows what we're like. And he knows that if he does all them things that he says he's going to do, he's going to help even more people. Because why? We won't need the money. I mean, I live humbly with my wife, my kids. If all my stuff is paid off, I'll just pay to live and I'll be good. But I'm also going to be working for him. I told you, Chance, making about $250,000 as a manager running everything. I'll hire my wife and I'll hire a team of people here in New Jersey. Chance will hire people in his area. So he's helping more people. Debbie will hire people in her area. So it just spreads because he needs honest, integrity people that are willing to help other people. And who are we? Same people.
That's true. No, I'm in full agreement. But to really enhance the quality of what it means to be a fourth dimensional mindset, or to have a fourth dimensional reality, we all have to gradually re-educate ourselves. Like, it's interesting because everyone should be having very expensive, like sterling silver. That's a perfect example. You should be drinking out of sterling silver cups or having sterling silver. And we're going holistic here, right? You should be having copper water vessels, copper plumbing. You should be having brass doorknobs, anything that's antibacterial, microbial. You should be building these houses out of hempcrete or having hemp wool, taking out all that, that crappy insulation, which is what, fiberglass? Yes. So there's this new paradigm where, yes, I love his ideas and I do agree, but at the same time, anyone that's involved needs to quickly shift into the new ideas and products that are going to come. So if we get replicators, don't cut trees down. If we're getting these industrial replicators, he needs to grab one, say, you know what, I'll pay it. I'll grab one. I'll set it up in the facility. We can.
He probably has one already. Yeah, that's the funny. Yeah, he's way ahead of us in years.
Well, what's he talking about then? We need that. Wow, he should be doing this. Don't worry about buying it. Just do it.
Well, but that's the thing. That's why he has to go meet certain individuals to get to know certain ideas of what the future human is going to project and create. So it's going to be probably scary but exciting and unnerving.
I'm excited
because, for one, he's not telepathic. I'll tell you that. And they will read his energy. They will be able to peer and see the essence of him, which is a good thing. And that's why I said, and I thanked him, thank you for being transparent, because I needed to understand and feel his representation, because that's how they do it. This is like all 5D, what I would call like your skill sets. You feel the other individual's spherical energetic realm. It doesn't matter about the distance or space. You can feel it. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. So I'm excited for him. That's for sure. So hopefully
it's very exciting. Been wanting to say something.
Go ahead, Chance. I'm sorry.
I've been thinking about this all week, and it's just something that I just found out. Brian probably already knew it, but you're talking about drawing the water from the atmosphere and then have it filtered and everything. Okay, and the same way with the cars, from the ether, you get your energy from the ether and the ground.
Right.
Now, I just became aware of this. Thank you, Maria. I'll call you afterwards. But have you, on the way to Iowa City, which is the biggest hospital town, it's just like an hour and a half that way, whatever direction that is, northwest. Okay, if you go there, you're going to see on the side of the road these great big electrical towers. And you're going to see one, and then you're going to go, a quarter of a mile, and you're going to see another one. And then you're going to get another quarter of a mile, and there's a whole stretch of them that goes on for about 5 miles, okay?
Yeah.
Now, what you don't realize, and I just became hip to this, I knew they were getting the energy free from somewhere, but I didn't realize where. They're getting the energy free from the ether, okay, with those towers and copper wires that are coming up from the ground, buried in the ground, and they're coming up the sides of the towers, and they're drawing from the ether and the earth at the same time. But we get the privilege of paying for that free stuff. Okay?
For them, cost us money.
And you want to talk about my pet peeve? I'll tell you what my pet peeve is. I hate utility companies. I hate the water company. I hate, I get the privilege of paying almost $200 a month for water that you can't drink. It's nasty. The pipes in this town are nasty. Okay? So every time you pay the electric bill, remember, they're getting that stuff for free. What you're paying for is their salaries and the towers and the copper wire. That's what you're paying for. And you know what? You could do that right in your own home if you had the right equipment. You wouldn't need them. And that's what's getting ready to happen.
Well, that's what he was talking about too, Chance, because we were saying not only the houses are going to be built, but the houses are going to be built with stuff inside that people don't even know. Get free water, free this, free that. And you're not paying for anything. So you're living for $500 and just paying a little bit of anything.
That's exactly right.
That's what we're building.
That's the future. That is the future. And that's probably what he's working out, like Brian said, with the government officials and stuff to, because we have been promised the release of technology, and this could be the very, very beginning of it. Debbie's back. Oh, she's on here twice.
Ooh, hot dog.
But I gotta run in a couple minutes. But I just want to say, guys, this is definitely going to be an amazing year if everything works out.
Well, absolutely.
And that's what I told you, Chance. I said I think that this is the coup de grace. This is what we needed to help all the people, not only that believe in us, but all our communities and everybody around us that are going to benefit from this. It's just going to be a tremendous project. And I think that's what the RV was about anyway, but also Nisaragacera. But like we talked about, me and him, why should we wait for Nisaragacera? If it happens, great, wonderful.
If we can do it now and push it forward, let's push it forward.
We're helping humanity so much quicker.
Get proactive.
There you go. So Nisaragacera, you can believe it. You can want it. If it happens, great. I love that. But if it doesn't, we got this.
And we're going to be able to help even more people, because, if I was making $250,000 a year, I wouldn't know what to do with it. The only thing I would do is I would set up some kind of I already got my foundation set up. It's just not funded. Yeah. I just fund my foundation, and I would just go on living like a ham, selling guitars. Brian, did you get your guitar yet?
Yes, I did, but of course I can't play it because I'm left-handed.
Well, guys, we got to go. So.
Okay.
Hey guys, I'm Chance McFadden, and I want to tell you something. I got this all ready to go here. Okay, so I know we're going to get a bunch of. we're going to get a bunch of calls and emails afterwards, but listen, it's great. And I thank you guys for coming tonight. And it's been a really long show, and I love you all. Okay.
Bye.
We'll see you next week. Hopefully, Brother Kent will be with us.
Oh, he froze.
He froze.
Oh,
Well,
no.
that's
All right.
one way to
So
end
we're
it.
just going to say goodbye, everybody. Have a good weekend. Merry Christmas. See you all next week.
All right.
Blessings, everyone. Have a good night.
Okay.
Gary's back.
I'll wait.
Good night, y'all. Y'all come back now. Here.
Everybody.